Hi, Jane. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So I'm so excited to be joined by Jane Stoller. And she's known as Organized Jane. And this woman is going to knock your socks off as far as creating methods and programs that are going to help you basically have the most successful business possible. She essentially focuses mostly on small businesses and medium-sized businesses, but frankly, given her background in the corporate world, is equipped to handle working with anyone. And I was introduced to her actually through a mutual friend of ours, as connection will have it, right? And I was lucky enough to be on Jane's podcast, and Jane Stoller. I was just so impressed by her that I wanted to interview her for my podcast as well, so we could share her resources. She has an amazing 6-step program, which is meant to boost your business and declutter your life and give you structure and organization to be the most successful entrepreneur possible. So, Jane, yay, we're here.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So, Jane, the other thing you guys all should know is that Jane is from Canada. So, you all know that I'm super into the global international scene with my background. So, Jane, why don't you walk us through a little bit about your life, how you came to be Organized Jane, and your process. I want to hear more about it.
Yes, so I was always organized ever since I was 6 years old. And for anybody that has kids, they have done a lot of research. When you're in between 6 and 8 is when you start to have these tendencies of being organized or disorganized. And that's when you can also create habits and change those ways too. So it's interesting. And my book, Decluttering for Dummies, I did a whole chapter on kids and I did a lot of research on it. Yeah, no, it's okay. On just how important it is that they are, you see those habits already. So I was just naturally organized and it was a passion of mine. And it didn't really I didn't think it could become a business. As society would have it, I went to school, got degrees, regular corporate role, and thought that's what you had to do to be successful. And I always had this in the back of my mind. It was a passion. And it wasn't until 3 years ago that I made the entrepreneurial leap into helping people and businesses get organized. But it wasn't an organized process like many businesses are. It was messy. I wasn't organized Jane first. I didn't have a brand or a website. I just started consulting. And I think that's how most businesses evolve. So even my own business was not organized in the beginning, but what I did to organize it and what I learned from my corporate days and my process of optimization days was really, I learned fast how to get it organized. And that's what I help others do now.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, it's a blessing that you basically have this gift, right? That at a young age you knew how to get organized. But what would you recommend to somebody, that doesn't have that gift? How do they get structured? How do they get organized? And I think that's what your course does, right?
Yeah, so my course really helps you like get organized, and it is a lot on the mindset too, and how you grew up. I had parents they weren't crazy organized, but we were Swiss, and everything had its place, and that was also, seeing that if you have a boss or a leader who's organized, that will also, it's also things in your surroundings as well. But you can definitely make steps to somebody said to me, "Oh, it's genetics. I'll always be disorganized." No, you can take steps.
Mhm.
So really, it's I say it's time to get real and hire a coach if you need some help on getting organized. And especially, I wanted to focus on women entrepreneurs because I'm so passionate about them and I love helping them. And I look at it holistically, your life and your business. My first step in my course is about time management and getting that organized in both facets, life and business. So it really is a holistic program.
Yeah, because the reality is this is that you can't look at your life in one isolation of just work or just, your home life. They're an integration. And I think that's the biggest misnomer, right? And particularly as an entrepreneur, I'm sure you probably see that all the time, right?
All the time. Yes. And it's just, especially entrepreneurs starting out in your business, you're just going crazy trying to sell your product or service or develop it. And then after that, we're still spinning on a treadmill, trying to think we have to do so much things. And especially as women, we're still doing a lot of the things at home and et cetera. So it never ends.
Yes, it never ends. So true. So in the decluttering process, like what's the first step and stage of actually, you kind of look at, this say it's this mountain of paperwork, right? That, or you're launching a business and you don't know where to go. Like, what's your first point of guidance for people? Like, what do you say to them? Like, where do you start?
Well, that's a question everybody asks me about. How do I start getting decluttered? Or if it's a specific room or area or category, let's say like paper, you're probably going to need to dedicate, start small, 10 minutes a day, put in your calendar. Here's my 10-minute declutter for the day. And you're going to have to tackle it. I say, don't do it all at once, even especially not all at once, because usually then we declutter everything and then we have to buy new stuff or we get stressed. So
Very
go
true.
small, 10 minutes a day. And that's how I say with my time management tools and tasks, even if you're putting something off, set a time cube for 10, 15 minutes and just start it. And that can be, you'll get the momentum going. Don't block off 4 hours to do it, because you likely won't.
I like that little time cube. Show me that. Tell me a little bit more about the time cube.
Well, I sell these on Organized Jane, and they are really to help you stay focused on a task. So today we are cluttered in our minds in our digital spaces. So when I'm doing email, for example, I will just set it usually to 30 minutes. I do my emails, blinking at me. I'll put it down. The timer counts down. And for some reason, that red blinking dot just makes me not get up, not do anything else. I don't check my Instagram. I don't do anything else I shouldn't. And it just gets me focused. It's also great with kids, when they're doing their homework, but it just starts you really getting your mind decluttered and focused on one single task.
I like that. I really like that strategy, because small incremental bits make us feel so successful. So I love that. How much is that little cube?
On Amazon, it's $24 with shipping.
Oh, but on your website. Oh, you have it on Amazon.
It's on my website and I have it on Amazon too, actually, both. They're both. Yeah.
Super cute. I might just have to get myself one of those.
Yes.
I just set my phone, but I like a visual, like a large visual like that. It's actually a really great tangible tool. So, so tell me, we focus a lot on female entrepreneurs, both you and I, but what led you to entrepreneurship versus staying in the corporate world and using your skills the way that you were? Tell me a little bit about that. And how did that process work for you?
I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. Actually, I had entrepreneurial parents. I saw they're always working. It's very stressful, actually. And there's a lot of risks you take. And I really thought, the dream life was being a VP of a company and just making lots of money and having a nice car and living in the city. And but that really, and then I would come home and just be at night and just, watch Netflix and go to the gym and just every day the same thing. And I was forced to work when I wasn't most productive. I knew there was more efficient ways to do things. So I got frustrated, and I was moving and doing everything for the corporation and not getting a lot of return. So I was asked to move again. I was living in Switzerland at the time. I was asked to move to France, and I was just 50% of my time was traveling. And I thought, you know what, I want to create my own life and help who I want to, and give myself more freedom in the process too.
Yeah, I think that's everybody wants the flexibility and the freedom to devise their program or their services the way they want to. And I think, what do you see is most inefficient about not just the entrepreneurs you work with, but also how does that parlay to your experience in the corporate world?
Well, oh my gosh, the corporate world I just found was so ineffective, so unorganized, especially the bigger the company gets, because there's a lot of systems and processes that take up that people don't know how to use, don't make sense. There's I find it really a lot of inefficiencies, and just the traditional working day, from 9 to 5. Is that the most efficient for your employees who are night owls and who get the most done from 6 till 9 at night, or are the most productive, or whatever it may be? And there was some stat that I read, I think it was in a Tim Ferriss book, that says 2 hours in an 8-hour workday is actually productive. So that really was an awakening to me as well. And that's when I turned to entrepreneurs, I realized it was really the opposite. We worked more, but we still were actually not being as productive as we could be, because we didn't really realize what systems were needed, what could be automated, how to scale efficiently. So all of those things kind of still, you work maybe more as an entrepreneur, but you're not necessarily doing the right things either.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, because I think, the difference between entrepreneurship is that you don't have a team, right? So it is easy to get distracted, and it is easy to pick up the wrong project that you might end up finding yourself working on for 4 hours instead of focusing on something else that might bring you more revenue for that matter. It's like work smarter, not harder, right? So
Mhm.
that's a beautiful statement and testament to the way you approach things. So what would you say has been your greatest struggle in entering entrepreneurship?
Well, like with most people, I was so scared to market myself. And I actually started the business 14 years ago when I had just finished my MBA, and I'm going to start this business, did all the things I was supposed to. And then I was so scared to market myself. And I got advice from only corporate mentors. I didn't have networking groups, or today there was not, empowerment groups like there is today, like what you offer.
Mhm.
All of these things weren't really available in the early 2000s, and I
So
failed
true.
my first business, so I didn't have that support, and that was the biggest struggle for me. So coming back into it, the first thing I did was hire a coach to help me get over my fear of personal branding and marketing.
Mhm.
And now I love it. I love telling people what I do and
Mhm.
being out there on social media. But I hired a coach, got over those fears, and I also joined a lot of groups that help me kind of stay accountable. A lot of entrepreneurial groups. I go to events, things like that.
Where do you find those groups? Because, I think some of the things that women struggle with is finding the right group that they connect to. Like you and I are more extroverted, and we probably have less fear around like just trying, right? But what would you recommend? Like, where do you go looking for those?
Well, I'm part of an organization called Boss Talks. So it started in LA, and I had met the founders, and it's really a group focused on entrepreneurships and business owners. And I now brought it to Vancouver, Canada, where I live. So we host meetings monthly. It's a very safe environment. So anybody in Canada who's an entrepreneur can look that up. But really word of mouth and looking, I know there's another one, a big one in Canada that's more for corporate women, which didn't exist when I was the W North Network. So
Mhm.
there's lots of them out there. And I think it's a little bit our responsibility to, start following somebody that you admire and look what they're doing. Are they going to events?
Mhm.
Are they attending something? Can you attend that too? And today there's more than ever online.
Mhm.
So I
Exactly.
would really just, start following somebody you admire and ask what groups they're a part of and what events they're going to. I guarantee they're part of something.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I mean, I think we know that people that join communities, and community can be just a few people, by the way, right?
Hmm.
Are more
Yeah.
successful, and
Yes.
that's because we know that you can't do it all alone. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
thank God for that, because, collaboration is just such a key component of any business,
Yes.
so and clearly you've done that so well. So tell me, I've seen that you've been featured in Forbes and, many different publications. How did that come your way? Was that something that you sought out, or was that something that, you were just given because of the how good you were at doing your job? Or, give some people guidance, because I think PR is another animal and another
Oh,
part of the
yeah.
marketing mix. Yeah.
And I think it's in like it has a place. And I really knew to get some clout behind me and to get the word out, I needed some PR help. So I did hire a publicist to help me. And I also knew I wanted to write books and have that on my agenda. And you cannot write books without something in your back. You can self-publish. I did my first one, but you need some help to get your message. You have a good message out there. You need a strategy to be seen. And I also wanted to do more speaking events. So I hired a speaking coach and got more involved in events like that. And they said, you need to have PR in your background. And so it depends. If you are focused on a business and your clients, which I am too, that might not be a necessity. But if you
Yeah.
really, yeah, if you really want to, let's say, go on speaking tours or, have books or things like that, it's quite important to have a little bit of PR I think, in your back pocket.
So do you think the best thing to do is hire a PR firm, or like where do you recommend that, or
That's a good question. And it depends on your budget, of course, your timing, because pitching is a very difficult thing and it can consume your day. So if you probably don't have time to pitch 8 hours a day, you have to be focused on your business and your clients and your products and services. So in that case, if your budget allows, I would definitely recommend hiring somebody in public relations to help you, because they also help you refine your messaging, put you in front of the right people, and that I think is money worth spent if it's something that you're wanting to grow.
Absolutely. I can't agree with you more. I think, going back to like communities like you joining Boss Talks, and I don't know if you're friends with Hillary or who, but
Yes.
I know them as well. I think they're lovely. And what I would say to you is that, knowing people in a community to help you that are trusted, right? Hiring
Yes.
people that are, vetted, so to speak, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and a lot of my clients will ask me who I use and what, for referrals and things like that too now. So it's nice to be able to pass those on and share it in a community as well.
absolutely. I can't agree with you more like you did when I was asking you about your program or your coach.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's lovely.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
anyways, I wanted to ask you also, you're highly motivated. And I got that from Hello when we first met. And, it's like it's one of the things about you that probably attracts a lot of clients because your energy is on a path, right? You know what you want and you're very clear. So tell me about that process, and were you always that way?
It's funny. I just wrote an article a little while ago about the difference between Swiss people and Canadians or North Americans. And Swiss people are naturally like me.
Oh my gosh, that's so
we
fun.
are we have less. It's not. It's maybe not the easygoing, friendly that part, but we're very driven. We like there's not a lot of small talk and things we do. We're process orientated. We just get to work, and I find like that's where I get a lot of. It's just naturally in me, and it's hard to teach people that, I find. And I'm lucky, I guess, in a way, but sometimes I had to also make sure that I do have fun and don't work too hard, and the
Well,
Canadian
those are
helps
those
that.
boundaries and the alignment of knowing
Exactly.
stuff, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So what are the types of things that motivate you? Like what would you say, like what are your key motivators? Like how do
Well,
you know, like for example, how did you know that you wanted to interview me? Like, what are you attracted to?
I'm attracted to very similar, like you gave me such a nice compliment that you want to, that I
Mhm.
had an energy that you want to talk to, the same thing for yourself. And you had created a community based on helping people. So what motivates me is seeing other people succeed. The more money we make, the more we can give back to our community, the more women I can support and grow their businesses, they'll give back to me. And it's a circle. So I'm super motivated by any women who has a business that they're passionate about, they can walk into a room and talk about. We can go for a glass of champagne afterwards and
Oh,
talk
if we
about
were
it. That's what
only
really
if we
motivates me.
were only local.
Oh, I know.
It's okay one
But
day.
those are the things. Exactly. And I think we're going to crave that connection more than ever. But I think there's a lot, when I talk with a lot of your friendships change as well as your entrepreneur, and you become to have more friends with entrepreneur because we are always working. We don't live for the weekends. Our business and our brand are our life, but
Mhm.
it's a good thing because we're so energized by it. So that's what motivates me.
Yeah, I think I always say like you are what you attract, right?
Hmm.
And if you find like the similar alignment with someone, then you tend to be, so have the high desire to actually want to connect, right? So tell me a little bit about your value set. You've been talking a little bit about, I never knew this about all the Swiss people, so I feel very educated. But tell me a little bit about your value set. Like, what would you say your top four core values are?
This is a great question. And it's interesting because one of my core values is really to value your time or
Mm.
value my time as
Well, that
well.
makes sense with your business.
Exactly. So I think that a lot of us, we don't treat time as the center of our universe, which we should, and we should also respect it for other people. And the Swiss too, they invented watches or not invented them, but make them now. So, time, a value is you should value your own time just as much as somebody else's. That's one of my core values. And I preach that to a lot of women. And, if somebody asks you to do something, does it fit in your priority list? So
Mhm.
that's really number one.
Good
Number
one.
two is also being a bit flexible and adaptable, and things will happen. And even though I'm super organized and have processes, I like if something comes in, we need the core values being able to deal with it and not stress out, I'm not a brain surgeon. My clients, I only have one that's a big facial plastic surgeon, but the rest are not on call. So it's really, we need to like a core values being able to roll with the punches a bit and live life. And I think that's important. And we often devalue that.
Very important.
Number three is also honesty, just making sure we're honest with ourselves, with our businesses, I talk a lot about numbers in our business too. We need to know them, being honest where we're at, how to get to the next step. And the fourth is really believing in yourself, because I have a vision board, and I just looked at the other day and I can't believe everything's coming true, but I believed in myself that I could do it. So we need to believe in ourselves more.
Yeah, I love these. I love that they all relate back to you. And because obviously we know core values are what motivates us and helps us make choice. But so often people are not clear about them. And I loved that. I mean, you'll be surprised, Jane, how many people I ask that question to, and they're not clear. So it is beautiful that you were able to just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Like
That's true.
and they aligned with you. So, and your entire mission. So it's great.
It takes a while to build that too. And a lot of, in my course too, one of my steps is, getting your vision, and your mission has to align with, when I look at your task audit and the task you're doing, I need to know where you want to be in 5 years too, because it all aligns.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I so agree with you. So when we're talking about the future and sort of where you want to be in 5 years, like, what do you see for yourself? Just curious.
So I see, my branding has done so well, and I really love Organized Jane. So I look at my business as an asset now. I never used to. I used to think, we downplay our businesses, but I do see it as a big asset in terms of products. My course is really scalable, has a proven system. So I do see that course getting a lot of momentum, helping more women. I'm hosting retreats annually, really on a growth scale. It'll be a lot more exposure, a lot more people, and my team will grow to help support all these women.
I love that. I mean, do you see yourself, supporting 100 women or 100,000 women?
With your systems organized, I can support 100,000, a million women.
I love that.
A lot. So I think that's the beauty of getting organized. You can help more people and also live the life you want to live.
Yeah. So tell me, because, I'm just curious, like when we look at your household, are we like, is like one thing out of place?
Well, actually, I'm at my parents' house right now, and my mom's an architect, so it's a modern home.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I grew up not in a crazy organized home. The Swiss are crazy organized, but my parents were not. And I grew up on a dairy farm, so I was working, but everything does have a place in my home. And I love shopping. I love clothes. I have a lot of them, but I do declutter them all the time. I'm always selling them. I'm always conscious of what I have and keeping things in my place, but I'm actually not I'm pretty chilled out too. So people don't realize that about me.
Oh, I love that. So tell me about a time where like an opportunity came your way and you were sort of faced with the challenge of making that choice. Like what, tell me what you did and what your process was.
Yeah, in starting this business, I was really I didn't have a brand in the beginning or a website, and I was just consulting, and for mostly businesses and one-on-one projects. And the opportunity really came when I started to get momentum, and I hired a team and I got the branding in place. And the opportunity was really to grow, but I couldn't anymore. And that's, I talked to you about hiring a coach for every single step of your business. So I hired one to help me get over personal branding. And I was like, I need a coach to help me scale this business and my 6 steps. So the opportunity for me was seeing that I need to spend and invest in myself and to get to that next level where I want to be. So, it's funny when you put that in the universe, suddenly all these courses come to you and you start following someone who's done it and they're like, okay, I'm going to do that. So it kind of just comes when you need it, I find. But
I like that. Has there been an opportunity that you felt like you missed?
Yes, I wish I would have signed up for, coaching, when I first started this business 13 years ago, and I wouldn't have failed. And I think that is, we have athletes have coaches and executives have coaches in corporate, but I don't know why having a coach should be a part of your business plan if you're an entrepreneur. I 100% think that. And I think I missed a lot of opportunities because I was like, oh, it's so much money at the time, but it really wasn't. When I
love that you put it in terms of investing in yourself, because I think that is something that a lot of women miss, like you're saying, and you're saying it so blatantly and so transparent. And while coaching is a luxury, it's actually, we all need a champion, right? So it's a beautiful statement.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what would you,
Yeah, and we're not scared to spend like,
$1,000?
I was gonna say, we're not scared to spend $1,000 on a shoes, plane ticket, whatever it is, but a coach, we're like, oh my God,
Like,
right?
oh, I
We're
don't know
now,
about that. The person will make me immediately happy. And then I don't have to look at
exactly. So it's
That's
very funny.
very, very funny.
Mhm.
So tell me what empowers you? Like, how do you feel most empowered?
Well, I mentioned it before, but having that connection meeting, I just love it after an in-person meeting or a summit when I just get around all these entrepreneurs. And it's, again, because I don't have a team, but that, energy you're feeding off, seeing what other people are doing. They're like, wow, she's building her business doing that. Like that is really what empowers me to take my steps to the next level too.
I like it. So I have a couple of rapid fire questions for
Yes.
you, if you're open to it.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Connection or collaboration?
Connection.
Why?
Because I find collaboration is great, but sometimes it can detract you from your core messaging. Sometimes it can work and it's great, and I collaborate a lot too, but it's challenging too, and you really want to stay focused on your revenue generating activities, and it can sometimes be distracting.
Love that. Marketing or accounting?
I think they're both important. And I've actually I love accounting so much because I love my numbers. So I'd say accounting.
All right. What's your favorite band? Music band?
Oh, I only love country music. So
well, that's so great. I love that.
Yeah, Tim McGraw is my favorite.
Okay. Totally unexpected. Love that. Who's your favorite? Like, who do you look up to for a role model? Like someone you want to emulate?
Martha Stewart, other than like the prison stuff, but she's built like a very great brand and was able to scale that beyond my wildest dreams, but she's really done a great job at keeping that brand alive.
And what about a favorite quote?
For every minute spent organizing, an hour is earned. And that was Benjamin Franklin.
I like that. I like that so much. Well, is there anything else you would love to share with our audience? I'm so grateful for our time today, but I want to make sure that we address anything specific that you have an offering or something that's coming up that you would like to share with us so we know where to reach you.
Yeah, so on my website, organizedjane.com. I'm also super active on Instagram, organizedjane. And anybody listening, if you want to send me a DM and let me know your biggest organizing challenge, I'd love to support you with some free resources, or we could jump on a call. And my main impact is my business booster course. So it's 6 steps to organize your business. I am having a retreat in November for my current clients. That's November 8th to the 10th in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico.
Ooh, I like that. I may have to.
And it's for, I know, I'll be inviting you.
I'll come be a speaker.
I love it. So we're taking my 6 steps to the next level and getting your business super organized, and it'll be a fun time to connect as well. And we don't get that time to sometimes work on our business versus always in it.
So important that we balance our lives from both sides, right? So I love the fact that connection is sort of core to your entire thread, and getting to know you better has been amazing, because I realize, we always say we are a reflection of one another. And I truly feel that by learning more about you in this call. So
likewise, you were on my podcast too, so I loved it.
Oh, thank you. Well, for all of our audience out there, we all know what Opportunity Knocks is about. Every week we feature a female entrepreneur, and we're blessed to have Jane Stoller on today, and Solar, excuse me, because I have a Pam Stoller.
No, you're good.
So, Jane Stoller, and from Organized Jane, and you really should look into her 6-step program, because I am certain she will help you declutter and allow you to have a successful life. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for letting me be here.
All right. Subscribe to Opportunity Knocks, people. Have a great day.
Thank you.